perhaps you've outgrown.
Of Nicola Will of St. John's, Newfoundland, a student at Memorial University. There is our race favorite. That's Nadia Schlee of Montreal, Quebec, expecting big things from Nadia Schlee today. We do have a field of 9 for the Texaco Elite Mile in the women's division. They are Barb Ross from Cape Breton, Nicola Will of St. John's, we've already met, Patty Blanchard of New Brunswick, Julie Kerwin, Barb Muse, and Anique de Goyer, both of Yarmouth, Nova Scotia, Mary Ann Weir, Nadia Schlee, our race favorite, and Bonnie LaFranc, just coming into your picture now in the back. She is from Halifax, and we are approaching the start line for the Texaco Elite Mile in the women's category, and they're off. Not a bad start for the women, and it looks like Nicola Will is on her way to the top at the front very early on, Norm.
Yes, it looks like Nicola is trying to set a really fast pace. I think they're moving along quite well. She will have to run quite hard to take the sting out of Nadia Schlee's kick, because Nadia is much quicker on the track. We see Anique de Goyer and Patty Blanchard up in that lead pack early as well.
So it is Nicola Will at this point and Patty Blanchard of New Brunswick running almost side by side. We are very early into the race. We will be approaching the first quarter very soon, but it is Nicola Will, who appears to be a bit of a gangly runner, Norm, if that's the word to describe it. Her arms flail a little more than the other two runners who are in front, Patty Blanchard and Nadia Schlee, and you've got to wonder what that does for your efficiency.
Well, Nicola is really a 5 and 10K runner, and for instance, Nadia is a miler, so you tend to have to be very efficient to be a good miler. And we can see them coming up to the 400, and Nicola went through in 67 seconds. That's a 4:28 pace. Now that's a world-class mile, so she's probably trying to take it out really hard and see how she can do. So I'd say they'll slow down a bit here, but you know, it's a good race so far.
And it is Nicola Will and Patty Blanchard. Patty Blanchard, number 4. She is from New Brunswick. Patty from Dieppe, in fact, an elementary French immersion teacher. Her mile time is 4 minutes and 50 seconds. Her best 10K time, 34:50. And it is Nicola Will at this point who is in front. Nicola, a student at Memorial, as we mentioned. She represented Canada in the World 15K Championships, placed second in the CTFA National 5K Challenge. She was the overall point leader in that event. Her mile time is 4:45, and she is our early leader, closely followed by Patty Blanchard, and then Nadia Schlee, who would have to be the race favorite. She was winner of the 1987 Brundens-Baxter 3,000 meter with a time of 9:34. She was in the Canadian Championships for the 800 meter in 1985. She was a finalist. The best time in the 800 meter, her best time is 2:09:56, and the best time in the 1500 meter for Nadia Schlee, 4:21. As we approach the halfway mark, Norm.
Well, they're still running quite fast, and you can see Nicola has succeeded in pulling the field away from Nadia Schlee, although Patty Blanchard is hanging on tough, and they went through 800 meters in 2:20, so they're still running a very fast 4:40 pace. It should be interesting to see what happens now.
This is going to be a very interesting race, I think, to the end, because, as you say, they have started out of the blocks, if you can call that, very quickly, and it should be interesting to see who has what left when we get to the end of the race. Road racing, very much a game of guts. When you get to those last few hundred meters, the person who has the most intestinal fortitude is the person who's going to make it, I guess.
It's definitely very true. You've got to really want it bad, and as you can see, they're working quite hard out there, and Nicola Will has spread the field out very well. And it would appear, though, that Patty Blanchard has pulled away a little bit just past the kilometer mark, moving up towards 3/4. She's running very strongly.
Very good stride by Patty Blanchard of New Brunswick at this point. And as you say, she is widening the gap. That's what we're seeing from above our chopper shot. Now we're back to the land level camera, and here she is again, Patty Blanchard from Dieppe, New Brunswick, looking pretty good and in good shape at this point.
Patty looks great. You know, I'm really impressed. I don't think I've seen her run this well in quite a while, and she seemed to just hang a little bit behind Nicola and let Nicola do the work, and that seemed to has worked well because she's pulling away now.
It's Patty Blanchard looking very good at this point in the Texaco Elite Mile for women. She looks great at this point. People along the line in the Halifax Commons area, North Commons of Halifax, cheering loudly for Patty Blanchard as she hangs on, and this is the tough part, the end. especially when you've started off so quickly because you've burned up so much energy in the first few.
There's a lot of lactic acid in those legs now, and the lungs are really burning. But as you can see, she's pulling an upset here, and she's pulled well ahead of the field. And, you know, she can't lose this one, I don't think, but I'm sure she's working very hard up there.
Patty Blanchard looking very good and should be on mark with her best time in the mile previously, which was 4:50. So she is in keeping with one of her better performances, and what a day to have a good performance. Track is a little bit wet. It is a fairly flat course, not too many inclines, not too many declines, so it's a pretty even course to run. The finish line, though, is a slight incline, and that can't make it any easier, but she does have a wide margin. If she did look over her shoulder there, we didn't see her. She knows that she's won it. She's crossed the line in 4:51.51. Patty Blanchard followed by Nadia Schlee in 4:56.54, and then Nicola Will in 4:58.03. So Patty Blanchard from New Brunswick, the winner. That's Nadia Schlee, upset by Patty Blanchard of Dieppe. The Texaco Mile continues on ATV after these messages.